This is the plaintiff, Janique Falls. She says she gave the defendant a fee for an apartment he showed her and also gave him money for the first month's rent. It turns out the defendant never gave the money to the real estate broker. Instead, he pocketed it. If that weren't bad enough, turns out the guy isn't even associated with the landlord. Is nothing more than a thief who stole from her. And she's suing him here and now for the return of her hard-earned $675. This is the defendant, John Manick. He says he's a runner, not a broker. In fact, he simply helped out a friend who's a real estate agent because he knows a lot of people, and when he helps his friend, he gets a commission. Bottom line, the plaintiff never gave him any money directly. The woman's motives for filing this lawsuit need to be questioned, and he hopes the judge will get to the bottom of this big mess, and he'll walk out the victor. He's accused of stealing a fee.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff gave the defendant money for an apartment thinking he was a broker, but the guy wasn't and pocketed the loot. The defendant says he's not a broker. He helped out and took a commission. It's the case of he's broker than a joker.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay. Janique Falls, you are suing John Manick for $675 that you say you paid him and he has pocketed inappropriately. Tell me what happened.
Okay. I was living in a shelter. I have a move-out date. My date was for February 28th. I met Mr. Manick right then about the 26th in the morning. Mr. Manick told me that he was a housing advocate.
Kind of cutting it close, aren't you?
Cutting it very close, yes.
Mr. Manick tells you I am a housing advocate. What does that mean?
He said he can find apartments. He said that he's working with Unique Real Homes.
Okay.
And that he's also like a broker for them, basically. He said, well, I can show you apartments, I can take your deposit, and I'll take you to the real estate. Right after the apartment, I gave him $500 bills. I went to the ATM machine. Me and my daughter walked to the ATM machine and bring him another $100.
So you give him a total of $600 that day. Mm-hmm. And then you gave $700 to the realtor that he said he worked for.
Yes.
Okay. When does the $700 to the real estate agent happen?
The very next day.
And then you go to the realtor and you give the realtor $700. Did that? You don't end up getting that apartment, right?
Oh, yes, I did.
Oh, that is the apartment you're in. Okay, so you obviously didn't get back the $700 you gave the realtor because that's
I still need an apartment.
Okay, so you did finish paying the realtor. But you say you paid him $675 and you want it back. Why?
Because my money never made it to the realtor. I had a $700.
Because the realtor said to you, I don't know what you're talking about. This guy never gave me $675. No. You still owe that other $675 plus whatever. And then you say, wait, I gave $675 to your guy. Mm-hmm. And the realtor says, that's not my guy.
Right. And to come to find out.
What's going on, Mr. Manick?
This woman is full of a lot of lies. You know, she was on the deadline, about ready to be put out. I took her to the realtor. I am a runner for that realtor.
You are what?
I'm a runner. Like, I supply them with the bodies. If they got the
supply them with
apartments,
bodies?
You know what I'm saying? If they got, not saying that's just the individual. If the people who want the apartment, I supply them with it. We took her to see the apartment. She did not give the realtor the money. I gave the realtor the $700.
Okay.
I told the realtor, right, and come in front of her.
Okay, so there's no dispute the realtor got $700,
right.
But she says she also gave you $675 the day before.
Judge, if you look at the receipt that the realtor gave her at that moment the breakdown on what she owed. If you would have gave me $600, you would have said.
Give me the original receipts. I don't want copies in court. I want originals. Because I need to look at them and see if they look doctored up or not. He's saying that this is a fraud, and the first thing I read is the phrase "to link me to apartment to process paperwork," which kind of looks like you authored it.
And her receipts as well. Can my witness speak, please?
Yeah, but do you hear what I just said?
Yes, ma'am.
And what's your answer to it? If he authored it, why does it say to link me to an apartment?
Because he had me and my witness write our receipts out, and he signed them.
Do you have a license on you?
My copies of my receipts and hers are the same two different signatures.
Any contract that he signed, any ID that you have in your wallet that has a signature. And let me hear from your witness. Come on up.
This is my neighbor. She came to me one day and she said, you know, I know you're trying to move. She said, well, look, this guy, I just went and saw an apartment. So I got his number. I called him. We sat down. He said, okay, you got to do a credit check. I gave him $50. I do have my original receipt, Your Honor.
Let me see it.
Your Honor, he tells you, fill out the receipt and I will sign it. That's what he tells you. Write it in.
Are these receipts legitimate?
He takes out his book and he tells you, write it in and he signs it. I gave him $50.
Are those receipts yours?
Yes, one of them is.
One of them is and the other one isn't?
Yeah.
Which is the one that isn't?
Oh, God.
Is.
The 175 is, and according to you, the $50 isn't. Do you have people fill out the receipt and then you sign it?
No, I mean, I don't know, man. Sometimes
Sounds like
some people fill out the receipt. At the time, I didn't have the receipt book.
Does anybody have anything from the realtor?
Yeah, I sure do, because he's working with
And
me.
I spoke to them too, and they said they never got my money.
And so what did they say about it?
They said the only thing he could do is say, listen, these people have available apartments.
This letter's to certify that Unique Homes Realty has been working with Ms. Janique Falls in finding her a 3-bedroom apartment. Ms. Falls was referred to us by Mr. John Manick, who is not an agent at Unique Homes Realty and does not represent us in any area of business. Unique Homes Realty is not responsible for any business transaction that is done by anyone who is not a representative of this firm. I don't think it's quite that. I don't think they can divorce themselves quite so easily.
And then that's another thing, Your Honor, like when you go in there, he try to overtalk you so you won't ask questions. This is why I want let my daughter to really speak so she can tell you what happened when we found out my 675 was missing.
I was there.
And she was
That's
in
what I
her
was trying to
meeting.
explain.
How did she realize the money was missing? Stop talking. Go.
The reason why my receipt says 175 is because when we first was doing the credit checks, we did 2. He said we was going to do 2 credit checks, $25 each. We all get into my car because I drive.
With him,
drive to the realtor office. We go in the realty office. She sits in one booth. I sit in the booth in front of her. And they start talking. And she's going, something's not right. My stuff is not adding up. Why is this saying this, balance? He goes, no, I hear him say it's going to be deducted in the end, in the total.
But can I tell you?
But wasn't the total being told to her right then? And that's how she realized that it was...
Can my daughter speak and let you know?
Lady, if you ask me one more time, the answer is going to be no. So don't keep asking. And if you roll your eyes, look at me. Do you see my eyeballs? Do you know they're in my head right now? And I just saw what you just did, right? To roll your eyes and your head and chicken neck when a judge is talking to you. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? You can answer.
It's not a good thing, but
no,
right
it's
now,
not.
my kids
It's not.
could be jeopardized
It's not.
to still
Because
be
you
on the
brought a witness
street.
and you want me to listen to the witness, right? You have interrupted your witness now 3 times.
So would you ever rent an apartment from a landlord and not get a receipt? Sir?
No, never.
Why?
Because he'd probably dud you up, come back, want more money.
Well, okay, I mean, but isn't there an element of trust with a landlord? Would you ever do that? Ever give money without a receipt?
No, I never.
Because?
I was taught not to do that.
Okay, you were taught well, my dear, going inside the courtroom.
So what was it you were looking at that didn't account for the 675?
My receipt from the real estate section.
Do you have that?
Yes, it's up there with you, Your Honor.
The crying isn't going to make a difference. It's just going to make it harder for me to understand you. Okay, so they give you a receipt for $700, which is the amount that you gave them at that moment.
Yes, ma'am.
But since you'd given $675 the day before, you expected the receipt to be for $13.
That's what she realized.
All right, and when you tell that to the realtor, what does the realtor say? They must say something to you.
When I tell it to the realtor, he jumped up out his seat. He said they used that for material to finish my bathroom so I can move in. That's what he told me that day. And it wasn't. It was supposed to go into the apartment for the deposit because he said it was.
So why was it okay with you that day?
I just needed to move.
What did you want to call your daughter as a witness for?
So she can
what is your testimony that
so
she never? Just a second. That she never gave you the $675?
She never gave me the $675.
So where do you make money?
I make the money from the realtor.
Do you have anything from the realtor saying that?
No, I mean I figured the number. You could have called her. This woman.
I'm not calling anybody. You know, if you're supposedly working with this realtor all the time and everything you're doing is legit, how hard is it for you to get a letter like she got a letter?
Yeah, I mean, because the simple fact is that dealing with, I don't just deal with that realtor. I deal with a couple of realtors. I know a couple of houses.
There's another person here who's granted is her close friend who also says that you took money from her. What ended up happening with your apartment?
I never saw an apartment.
You never even saw an apartment.
We went
and
to
according
see
to
one.
you paid not just the credit check $50, but also the $175 deposit.
We went to see an apartment. The landlord never showed up. The next day, she told me he took her money.
Did you ever tell him to give back the money?
Plenty of times.
Did you ever talk to the shelter and tell the shelter to stop letting him in?
Yes.
We told them. He told me 4 days in a row, your money is no problem. I will give you my money, your money back. I'm giving you your money back.
Did you tell her you give her her money back?
Actually, I did. I left a message for her. She didn't call back. We went to show her the apartment, but the landlord still gotten caught up, so she didn't get a chance to see the apartment. You understand?
So why haven't you paid? No, I don't understand. Why haven't you paid her back? Stop. How much money are you supposed to have given back that you still 1 month later haven't given back?
It's only the 175.
Oh, no, the one with the the 175 with the falsified signature?
No, I don't know which one. The one that you showed me. I thought he said the one with the signature on there. I don't know which signature.
Exactly.
But which one signature that has mine on there, then that's the one that I'm supposed to give her back.
Which one?
I'm not sure which one.
How much money did the lady give you?
She gave me $200. And the $200...
So you not only haven't returned her money a month later, but you told me one of these was falsified, and now you just finished telling me she did give you that money.
No.
Okay, you know what? I rule in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of the $675.
Oh, yeah, liar. Oh, yeah, that's what you get for lying.
The plaintiff has won her case here in the People's Court. Step on in here, and that means you're on the losing end as the defendant here. What's going through your mind here after all this?
I mean, actually, she is scamming the system to get out the system, so it is what it is.
And what are you doing? Just trying to help people?
More or less. You know what I mean? More or less. That's all I do.
And what happened in this case? How did you wind up in here?
She's a scammer.
All right, head right around the corner this way, and that gives us a chance to talk to the plaintiff. Look at her.
Hey, how are you?
Look at you now. You were crying 5 minutes ago.
Yes, because this is hurtful for somebody to just take your money. You have kids. Like, you don't do that to people. And then you're lying. Don't take my money and me and my kids is left to go on the streets, and you take my neighbor's money too, and then you act like you don't know what you did? Who does that to people? We got kids. Scam who?
All right.
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate you.
Harvey?
Okay, I gotta tell you something. When people start acting like they're this or you're a broker or whatever, you better make sure who you're dealing with. This happens so much that people who are really slick are really good, and they tend to know how to fool you. You should always be suspicious when you're giving money to people you don't know. I'm telling you, if you're not, you're gonna get taken.